Hello, my wonderful people. This is your girl Jazzy Jazz with Timeless and Creative Self, and today I am here to do a new project. The original voice and sound for this was lost, and so I am doing a voiceover, so please bear with me here. Today we are doing a very special project my partner asked me for, and here I'm explaining a little bit about the canvas I'm using. It's a 12 by 12 inch flat canvas, and what you see here is a cutout of a Tantō sword or dagger that I did with painter's tape. So the idea here is I'm going to be doing an acrylic pour around the Tantō sword to give it the look of fire. And yeah, so here I'm just kind of explaining that. I'm going to be putting a black border around the painter's tape so that I can get the outline so we can later on then paint in the Tantō sword. So this is called Tantō of Fire, and I want to give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. So before I do that, I'm using Mars Black for the base, then Brilliant Red to go around it. It's a transparent color. I'm also using Naphtol Crimson, which is a opaque red metallic orange to give a little bit of life to that fire. I'm also going to be using a magenta color, titanium white to give a bit more effects, as well as gold. All of these are acrylic pour mediums, and I mixed it just with water and paint. 60% paint, 40% water, and we're good to go. So here I'm putting down the colors around the actual sword, kind of giving a little bit of space so that the acrylic pour does not go into the void where I'm going to be painting the sword. I'm using a straw to blow out the details here. I wanted to mimic fire. So you might be wondering what the heck is a Tantō knife or a Tantō sword, and it's basically an iconic weapon that was used in the 10th century in Japanese history, and mostly used by samurai, but women also sometimes would carry smaller versions in their obi. So these Tantō swords or knives were anywhere from around, I think it was like 5.5 or 6 inches to 12 inches. So in reality, what I did here was it's actually the size of an actual Tantō sword or knife. And my partner wanted something to put in his man cave. And so what I did was I used all the favorite colors, and I figured that these colors would mimic fire really good and give it that whole power, that look of power. So it's kind of like the Tantō sword is going to be surrounded by fire. So here I'm just blowing out a little bit more, and yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. It was used by samurai again, like I said, but it was like a stabbing or slashing sword, and yeah, you can buy them nowadays as a collector's item, from what I understand. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of this. After I blow it out, I'm going to be showing you guys the details, and then later on we'll be going back around to fill in and paint the knife. So I'll be back a little later on. And here I'm going over the details with you. I really like the way that these colors mix together. I feel like the white that was added it kind of blew out into the black base, and it gave it like this really cool, like almost marbling effect. You can see the white, but you can also see some of that transparent red that I put in to the into the pour a little earlier. The gold was a little bit lost, but you could still see some of the gold in there. But what really surprised me was some of the orange details, and you'll see it a little bit more when I go back to actually edit the painting a little bit, because on this side, if you notice, this was beautiful. I really like what it did here, but I really didn't get the effect of fire the way that I did on the other side, on the bottom part of the painting. You can see it right here really quickly. The top portion of the painting didn't have too much, so I came back and I added more crimson and orange as well as gold, and then blew it out a little bit more, and this is what I got after the fact. So I went back and I did a little bit of fixes, completely forgot to record it, but here it is after I added some more crimson. And yeah, I didn't touch this side because this side was great. I really like the way that it came out. I think it did the job. Added a little bit more orange, and over here this crimson and orange that I added really gave it a big pop. And so here I feel that I was very much successful in pulling off the whole effect of Tantō fire, the fire coming off of the sword. And so I was very, very happy with the results here. This is it wet still. Yeah, super, super nice. And here it is before we let it dry. All right, so here is day 2, and I'm coming in to fill in the details. So I used a Mars Black titanium white paint to make a light gray as well as a dark gray to fill in the details. So the dark gray almost was like a black, but it wasn't completely black. And the sword is silver, and then it has a gold handle. So here I'm just filling in the parts that are gonna be silver with the lighter gray. Here I used a titanium white with gold, and then used a darker gray to fill in the details on the handle of the sword. Here I'm painting it silver so that we can get that reflective nature of an actual sword. Now I'm going in and I'm doing the details. I'm using a crimson red as well as a metallic red mix to fill in the diamond shaped portions. These handles are usually wrapped with like a rope or black leather, and then they have the kind of like the triangle or diamond shaped details on them. So here I chose to do them red. Here I am completing the details on the knife. Using the palette knife to put on the gold. I figured that the palette knife would give it a bit of a texture and would mimic a little bit more of how, you know, the Tantō knife looks in real life. we're gonna go back and we're gonna finish the rest of the handle with the dark gray. This is the end result, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and this is what I call Tantō fire.